All right, guys, working on the Magnepan MGI rear removable speaker grill. This is number 2. Using some lessons learned from version 1. The thing that I had an issue with on the first one that I did was when I stretched the fabric over the grill, it pulled in the side rails, created some small gaps along the edge that I wasn't happy with. So for this go around, what I've done is added some temporary channels across here, and they're just little cheap pieces of wood and some of that 1/4-inch channel just kind of haphazardly locked in there. But what that does, creates a triangle so it doesn't flex inward like this. It doesn't have to be a lot, just enough to keep the fabric from squeezing the sides. So just wanted to share that kind of as a tip if you're thinking about building your own speaker grills for the backs of the Magnepans. You just want to make sure that they don't flex, stretching fabric over them. All right, so the first step covering these grills, the way I'm doing it is I add the contact cement across the very top edge. Then I apply these clips. I'm gonna let this sit and dry for probably 30 minutes. I don't put any on the outer face. The reason is you don't want glue to show on the outside of the grill. In other words, you know, if the metal is here and you have glue on it and you apply it, you're probably going to get some weird staining. And the entire this side is completely visible. So if you don't want anything shining through, or so I come back next, I'll show you the flip side, and then on the ends I just do the same thing. It's going to be on this outer edge, on the face, wrap it. If I have any areas where it hangs over, I just take my knife and just trim across. Makes a nice edge. So far the center support's working okay. Really haven't stressed it yet. It was kind of nice to have that in there too, to keep the cloth from falling through the center when I was working. So overall, I think that's a good method. I could have even, if I had another one of these are cut-offs from the 8-foot lengths, because I had to cut these up, and these are the leftovers basically. I could add another one, going that way, maybe back again if I wanted to. I'm not sure how many of these pieces I ended up with. I think it's just these 2. So not a lot of waste either. All right, so I decided to go ahead and film a little bit of this. That's annoying to me when some videos fast forward and you're like, oh, I'd be interested in how that was done. So I'll go ahead and film this, even though I think it's kind of basic, but sometimes certain techniques, people don't think about. So. All right, so I've got to remove all these clips. And this is gonna want to hang now. Yeah, we'll remove these 2. All right. So now, if I flip it over, gotta be a little careful so that the frame doesn't fall in between. You can see how the beams kind of support the cloth working. It's kind of nice. So I just flip it down like that. So that it hangs nice and straight. And then what I'm going to do is come in here and just paint along this side with glue. And I'm going to pull it over and I'm going to clip it on this side so that it'll, this contact cement, the lid gets stuck pretty good. But you have to tighten it down because this glue will just disappear if you don't have a good seal. Make sure it's not going to fall. Looks okay. I'm just going to paint just along in here. I usually make a couple passes. It's really hard to see where you're painting with this reflective silver. If you get a little bit on the top surface, it'll be all right. I did get a bit right there. So I'm just going to spread it there. You just don't want any globs. Okay. Put the lid back on tight. Now I'm gonna grab a couple clips. Right. Now's the trickier part, really. You could make a mistake at any point here. Again, these are coming in handy, so I do recommend that. And I start in the center. I'm going to pull it fairly tight. Not super tight, just enough to where it has some tension. Because this isn't really the tension phase. This is more of a just a fix in the ends there. When it comes time to glue this side over here, then we're going to want to pull it taut. Right now it just needs to be tight enough to put some pressure on that over there so that it doesn't want to. Now, next thing you want to do is kind of smooth this. And since it's wrapped underneath, you want to smooth it upwards because you want to get any of those. And then if you see a little kink like that, you can just pull the fabric. Again, we're just looking to glue this end. Top's not important. Go ahead and clamp this. I'm going to pull it tighter. This one. Okay. Just like that. All right. So now I'm going to let him sit. Probably about 30 minutes. I'll go ahead and add a few more clips to add some more tension. I don't have a lot of these big binder clips, but they work pretty nicely. I'm going to slide this one down towards the end. There you go. There's actually quite a bit of work with this frame. It's, I'm not gonna say it's more effort than doing the main speaker, but it's definitely not any less. So, and then again, once you're done, you pull it from the ends to get a good flat grill. All right, so we're moving on to the next step on the grill construction. Gonna once again remove the clips. I'm waiting about 30 minutes in between steps to allow the adhesive to set. All right. So our next thing we're going to do fold this back like that. I get my glue and my wrench to open the glue. All right. I'm really cramped for space here, guys. I'm trying to, yeah, you can see everything. I'm just going to go along this outer edge, just like this. I'm also going to drag it up underneath. Again, you don't want a whole lot of glue on your applicator because you want it dripping. I also recommend doing this outside. It's pretty potent. You don't want to be exposing yourself to this inside, and it's also flammable. Obviously, I'm not following my own advice right now, but that's what I should be doing outside. The main thing I'd worry about doing this on the inside is flash, combustion, too many vapors in your room, and then your furnace kicks on, and then so my recommendation is do it outside. Okay, now I'm just going to pick this up. I'm going to try and keep it as straight as possible. If you have any adhesive on your fingers too, you probably don't want to start this step yet. You probably want to go out and wash your hands. And just lay it across. The next step is going to be put some tension on it. I'm going to start in the middle. I'm just going to pull it taut. Smooth it a bit. Okay. You have a little bit of work time with this stuff, which is kind of nice. I've pulled it loose in some pretty advanced stages of drying. I'm pulling it from the corner over here at the moment. I'm going to go ahead and lock this in up here. It'll tell you what it needs. Like you can really tell if you've pulled it too far in one spot. If you have some kind of a pattern in your material that you're using, you want to keep a little bit of an eye on that, because it's possible to pull it in one thing and have a little bit of a wave in it if you've over tightened it from the rest of the pattern. And you probably don't want that. Now let's see. I'm running out of clips. The thickness of that channel kind of dictates what size clips I can use. And the really small ones, they won't fit. So, making do with what I got, like most things. You see when it starts to dry, I'm pulling from the corner again, and I'm going to use one of my big clips, stronger clips. Right there on the end. Now for the rest of this, pull him tight, wrap him. Just using clothes pins on this. Since this is starting to flash off, I'm going around and pressing right now just to get it to start tacking the fabric. Except where I haven't stretched it yet. It's important to have some strong clips, like these black ones that I have, because the clothespins, they'll hold it against the material, but it won't really keep tension. Okay, so that's what I've got so far. Tension's, yeah, it's okay. It's really not gonna be super taut until I do it from the ends, and that will really pull everything. All right, so I'm looking at probably another 30-minute dry cycle for this. Then I've got another 30-minute dry cycle, and then I've got to come in and do these two ends and another 30-minute dry cycle, and then this grill should be complete at that point. All right, so it's time to remove the next round of clips. All right, so we're going to finish this up here. The last step is going to be pull this tight. And glue him up. I'm going to do this with the cloth facing up because I want to be able to see any lines that may be in the fabric. And I can pull it out. Makes it a little bit tricky. Hopefully we'll get enough on here. All right. Grab the frame and give a pull. All right. I'll put one more on the end. I'm going to slide this guy down. This one a bit this way. All right. It's pretty good. All right, so that's looking pretty nice. Hard to see on camera, black, but basically I just gotta let this dry, and then so I can get my clips back. Then I'm gonna come around and do that side. If you notice these little loops on the corners, best just leave those intact so you don't have to worry about any kind of if you try and cut it off or something like that, you could fray. It can pull away over time. But what I've been doing is I take these little tags, I'm going to put a little dab of glue on each side and just roll them under, and that helps to secure it in the frame as well. We have to slide this forward a bit. Actually, I can go this side up here. We have that nice cross brace. All right. Got a bit of a crease right here. We're going to see if we can pull that out. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I thought I'd show real quick how I do these corners. I've painted some contact cement down in the corner, and then what you're going to do is just going to grab the tip of the loop like that and give it a tug, and just hold it down like that. It's a little bit like origami. Just let that sit like that, and then I'm going to come in here and put a clip on it. But I can't do that one-handed and hold the camera, so I'm going to have to break off. Alright, so basically it's like that. That's how I do it, guys.